Hello fellow dreamers. So last night I dreamt that I was Chinese, which is kind of weird, but I was. And I was in a Chinese boarding school and there was an active shooter. I was really scared, obviously. I was stuck out in the hallway and I could hear them coming. There was 3 of them. And at one point I ran into the cafeteria's kitchen. I was being chased by one of the shooters and I jammed the door shut somehow, and then I had to run and shut the other door. And there was one other person with me. It was a guy, and I don't really know who it was, but he was with me. So then we were like trapped in the kitchen, and we were trying to figure out where to go and hide. And we kept hiding in weird random places. And then I found this like back door that went to like a stairwell kind of, and I went in there, and for some reason I knew we couldn't go to like the front entrance. Like they must have had someone stand there. So I was like, well, we could go up to the roof. So we searched through the doors and we kept finding stairs, but we didn't know which one went to the roof. Finally we found one. We're like, this one goes up, let's go up this one. And we went up, and then we got to the top and it split into a few different ways. And I remember thinking, we're gonna go down this and we're not gonna be able to find our way back out. But the shooter was really close to us, so we were just kind of like, I don't care. So we split up. It was like a cave kind of. Somehow even there was a bunch of different ways the person went down the one cave next to me, and both of us, I think, hit dead ends. I know for sure I hit a dead end, and I was like, I'll just hide underneath this like pile of stuff. And then this giant pterodactyl came down. I was on the side that its nest was on, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna survive this because it's gonna think I'm attacking its children, so bye. The shooter was coming, and I was like, my only hope is I got in the nest with the babies and pretended I was one of the babies. And I remember I put sunglasses on because I guess to make my eyes look bigger, so I looked more like one of the babies or something. I don't know, but it was funny. And then I guess it like chose one of the babies to go hunting with it or whatever, and I made sure it chose me. So the bird carried me outside, and somehow I got away from it. I was off the roof at this point and on the ground. The shooters like saw me and they were like, oh no, they're getting away. And so I was like running as fast as I could, but they were gaining on me really fast. And my horse Jasmine, I was in a pasture and I saw her and yelled for her, and she came running, and I jumped on her and we jumped the fence, and then we were running away. And even though we had like a really far way to run, I just remember it like knowing it was gonna be a super long journey. But we did a cross-country course on our way there for some reason, which doesn't make sense because save the energy. But anyway, so then I finally get to like a town or whatever, and I was at the police headquarters, which was also kind of the FBI, but like Chinese version. I ran in there and I was like, we need help, and I was like telling them what was happening, and they were like, oh my gosh. And then they were like, well, it's not worth it to help. I guess at this point, like, somehow there was only one left, and they're like, well, there's only one left and we don't want to make a scene about it, and so we don't want people to know. And they were like purposely blocking all of our like calls and social media and stuff so it wouldn't get out. And I was freaking out, and I was like, well, I'm gonna have to go back and try to save everyone, because, well, and they just wanted me to go back to school. And I was like, that makes no sense. But I had some really deep like scratches from the bird thing carrying me, so I had to go get medical attention. And after I got the medical attention, they left me for a minute, and I ran as fast as I could to another part of the building. And in the other part of the building was like a news crew team thing. And I ran into the office of the host lady, and she was asleep. So it was really funny. And I ran in there, and the people were right behind me, and they're like, don't do this. She woke up, and I was like, never mind. And she's like, what? No, tell me. So I hurried and shut and locked the door, and I told her. And then she was gonna broadcast it, but I think they like stopped her somehow. So I was like, I'm just gonna go to the school and take care of it myself. So I grabbed a couple weapons that shoot projectiles very fast. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the G word, so I'm not going to, but I grabbed a couple of those and I ran back to the school. I found the one shooter, and he had a gold G word. He was trying to stop me, and like, I ran up to him and I tried to use the G word and it like missed, and then he was trying to get me, and then it was this whole thing. And then I ran to this one part where it was like hospital area or something, and I hid in there, and then finally I got the drop on the shooter, but I couldn't get mine to work, and I was freaking out because it wasn't working. And then I grabbed his, and then his wasn't working, and then finally I got his to go, and but instead of, it just like tased him basically. And then he was on the phone with his mom and was like laughing about how I couldn't get to work and I wasn't actually gonna stop him, and he's like, I'm gonna let you try, but you're not gonna be able to do it because you're stupid or something. And then like after like forever trying, and I tased him like a whole bunch of times, I finally got it to work. So I finally stopped them. So that's about when I woke up. It was scary, and there was a lot of running and a lot of hiding and a lot of chasing, and yeah. Oh, keep on dreaming, dreamers. Almost forgot.